It's Monday. Oh, Monday today. Holy hell. Yep. All right. Let's see if we can get back to it today. There are some minor issues that we can work on today, I think. Also, does restream work? Test. Don't tell me I have to restart. Okay. Right now I cannot see YouTube chat. It says that my restream is connected to 0 out of 0 channels, but it is connected. Typing there, it works. Okay. So we'll do this. Oh, that's it. Oh well. That's good enough. Alright. It's being a bitch. Yep, I was gone for a few days, but we're back. Hello, Max. How's it going? All right. So, there's some minor problem with the rendering of the pathfinding, which I guess we can try to look for. It's one of those things where it's annoying to look for. Yeah. Also made a new level, but the level is bugged. Oh. The level isn't important either, but first of all, the move is bugged. So the first tile in the movements line doesn't work. For whatever reason, that's rendering as nothing. Well, grass doesn't look very good, to be honest. And here, it renders yellow here, where Adanos is supposed to end up. And it's supposed to be green. So there's like just some order thing going on here, I think. It's got to do something. It's something with the pathfinding. But the annoying part here is that figuring out where the issue is just super annoying. But this is in the pathfinding. Pathfind, specifically in Pathfind. So, what I think is kind of happening here is that... Well, actually, I'm not sure. Because if we look at it, it behaves a little strangely. Well, let's continue looking here. I think this one is probably very easy. My guess is that it is here. And here it says that this is the issue here, I think. It's doing a while loop. While current location to check dot position does not equal PF data source object tile position test outer bounds min vec3. What does do? I think what we should be checking is Not this, but if current location to check dot position does not equal its parent, and that might solve it. Let's see if it does. Nope. And see, the issue is that when I'm doing this, the final tile isn't added. So I'm gonna have to just do something like this. It feels shitty and clunky, but I think I have to do this. And I think this here can never be yellow. But let's see if it fixes it first, then we can remove that piece of code. It doesn't work. Item with the same key has already been added. Really? Never easy. Oh, how's it go? And thank you. Well, it's difficult, and it's a little difficult, right? Because going full technical means that most people won't understand. But there are people who do understand as well. So it's like... I think doing it a bit is probably good. Like, I know Gibbs is trying to rein it in a little bit, but... Yeah, no, I do think doing it a little bit is good. Like, gotta have some parts with layman's explanations and some part with in-depth stuff, I guess. But yeah, no, it went alright. And then I had a migraine for 3 days. But I think I figured out why. Well, we'll see. I think I've depleted some vitamins. So I bought some vitamins. Oh yeah, I didn't take the other vitamin. Yeah, I do want to get back to that. But since I don't eat vegetables and fruit, really, that means my intake vitamin C is really low. There is vitamin C in meat, but there's not a lot, but it's really as much as you need. As long as you don't like super fry it. But I have been eating a bunch of carbs lately. I bought a bunch of nuts, like this trail mix for my dad, but it turns out that there was too much sugar in it, so I couldn't give it to him because he has diabetes. So I just ate it myself. And it was like 1.5 kilos, which is almost 3 pounds. And eating sugar and carbs actually depletes vitamin C, because vitamin C is used, well, I don't know if it's actually used to metabolize it, but they compete and glucose wins. So because of that, you need to take much more vitamin C when you are eating like a standard diet. And I think because of that, it's been going down. Butter, coffee, and meat. Well, I'm avoiding the coffee. It gives me a stomachache, but more or less, yeah. I mean, the main thing I eat is ground beef with one onion in it and like a 400-gram package of crushed tomatoes. That's like my standard diet. And cheese. But yeah. Because I did read up on like symptoms of low vitamin C, and that includes you can get like neck pain and headaches, but also it leads to brittle blood vessel walls. And I've been having like spontaneous nosebleeds constantly recently as well. Like I get that randomly, and I think that might be part of it. But I mean, I don't know. I'm just guessing. We'll see. I'm taking some vitamins now, and today I'm better, so hopefully it'll work out. I still need to do some writing though, so I don't know how much extra programming I'll get done, but we shall see. We shall see. We're attached. Let's see what's happening here. I feel like this level takes longer to load. Right. Okay, so we have a path dictionary here. I fucked up. Well, maybe we can figure it out. Because we have, let's see. We have the source object. And the source object is standing at 792,270. 792 divided by 24. And what was the other one? I mean, actually, we have the actual bounds here. I don't have to calculate it. 14, 15, 32, 33. 14, 15, 33, 14, 15, 32, 33. So what I'm trying to figure out now is what is the pathfinding actually doing, because it's not rendering some tiles in the beginning. So let's see. In the path dictionary, this is the location, and it has a size of 2, 2, and an origin point of 0. So 32, 14. It does have the correct tile in there. Yeah. Hmm. Can you actually, like, change the code while it's running? I don't think so, right? No. So therefore we had to turn it off because it's gonna crash. And then we have to do it again. Because I think it's got something to do with that then. now again, let's see. Current bounds are 15. I only need the min. 1529. And then here we're gonna go in and we're gonna expand. Origin point is 0. Temp location list is what? That's Pathfinder tile. It shouldn't be called that. But here we are adding all of this. So let's go here and we'll set a condition where x equals 29. And it somehow skipped past it. Oh. Yeah, okay, I fucked it up. That was my bad. Maybe we can try again. I need iLock. iLock.key.x should be 29. Alright, so now we're at 29:15. This is where we wanna be. Because this is where... $29.15, $29.16, they're both added here. It's blue. Everything seems correct. Where lies the issue? In here? For each var invalidated tiles. It seems to be correct. So in this scenario, it's this 2916 and 3016 that are going to not work. So let's set this breakpoint here. To be tile dot e dot y equals 16. So now we're at 2516, and this is the tile that should get skipped. And here we're generating range results. We're setting the edge. So I think this whole section is actually fine. Being set to blue, being added to the tile dict. It's got an edge. Yeah, everything seems about right. Oh, did I go from the back? 2815. No, not necessarily, but let's see. Let's go here. There. And then it says draw dynamic grid. Dynamic grid highlight area. I feel like we're gonna skip that. That's now... Ymax is 17. Yeah. Because for whatever reason I'm setting the maximum to the max plus 1. Why am I doing that on Z? Think it's an issue. If X max is less than or equal to tile plus key, then we're setting it to X plus 1 plus origin size dot X minus 1. $21.15. X min. $32. Yeah, I think this is kind of incorrect. I don't think it really matters, but it is incorrect. I think this is a bit of a remnant, because before I was just using like the position they were at, and then I was like adding their size to get the right hand size of how big the grid should be. But now I've already converted everything into just tiles. So the only thing we're sending in here is a series or a collection of tiles that just perfectly represent where everything is supposed to be. So I think first of all, this should be set before we even get in here, probably. But it doesn't matter that much either. But all of these plus ones and like origin size minus whatever, this shouldn't be here. It should just be whatever the key is for the tile. And it should also be greater than, not greater than or equals to. But it doesn't really matter. Because while it's incorrect, it really only means that we're gonna draw a bunch of empty tiles in the dynamic grid, which just doesn't do anything. So I don't think it's a big deal either. Here we initialize the matrix. And here we generate a bitwise grid. I mean, I'm not seeing an issue so far. Which is almost just as annoying. Because there is an issue. Assuming that there's no issue like this. So what am I doing here? This doesn't make any sense. Check if tile in world. What are we doing there? We're checking against the tile matrix. That doesn't make any sense. I mean, I get the idea here. So what's happening is that here I'm creating a grid. And the grid is just whatever array size that we're creating for the grid is simply the minimum and maximum of the grid that we're, or like what's happening on the screen. So if I'm trying to move from like 0 to 10, we're creating a grid that's a size of what, 11 to fit that, and then that grid is just written to the shader, and that's what's happening there. But because of that, this is strange. Like, I'm doing a check if tile in world on the grid index, but the grid index is local space, so it's like from a value of, like, even if the tile is at like 32, if that's the bottom left tile, it's just as an index of 0. So like checking that against the world doesn't make any sense. But I think the idea here was to check it against the grid that we have, which would make sense. Yeah. I'm surprised there's no like 3D list. At best, you can make a jagged list. Which works, I guess. Might actually be superior. I don't know. Now the question is, for each tile in Pathfinder Tile Dict. So the issue is going to arise once we get to 16. Actually, the issue here might be at 30. Let's say if tile.key.x equals 30, what does it look like here then? Then the grid index is going to be set to 1812. And it's still going to get set. So that's not an issue. Man, I'll be right back. I'll be right back. But if the problem isn't here either, then what the fuck? And then that's set. Now, this is the tricky part next. Wait, what? Oh, right. So we're then going to go to finalize dynamic highlight grid. But this should just set these things here. So we're setting a position. Okay. The position is 12, 3, 0. And then we have a size of 21, 15, 2. Is it 2? Oh, because he's +1 everywhere. Yeah. Actually, well, I think that's irrelevant. It should be. But, like, because 2 is a weird number. But that's what we end up with there. And our maximum here is 30, 16. So this is 33, 18, 2. So that's wrong by several tiles. But I still think it doesn't matter. Like, I'm writing this 1D grid, and I don't see an issue. Genuinely so confused. Because you can see it, it always happens at the end of the path there. $29, $30. Why? Thing like that? If it just says object, we can take any type, right? The entire point here is just to do this. Oh no. Yeah. Check if tile in matrix. And the matrix is grid matrix. Cannot convert from uint to object. You need to do like P like that. Yeah, that works. It's just so annoying. Oh, I was hoping this was gonna be easy. Oh. This is the annoying part about fixing like details that are wrong. That they're usually just like 10 times worse than everything else to fix. Because it's just some bullshit somewhere. Like, why is it doing this? I don't know. Like, the number one place that I thought it would be, it wasn't. So, like, what is the problem? Pathfinder. Because this is where I think it should be. Movement, path, and path found. This is it, right? But I just checked that. Robert, let's go on. Can, but it's not working. Path dick. Why is this complaining here? Oh. Okay. What is this? I think this might be causing something. Let's actually unbreak point it. And then we run. And now we can see that that's busted. The character is standing at 35, 13. 35, 13. Right? Yeah. This unfortunately does not want to work exactly the way I want it to. Come on. maybe if we do something like this here, we do this, then we can do that. There, okay, so now we have more understandable. So target location, position. The target location is 4513. So that's the first position that gets added. And so that's added to the path. There. Hello, Prosto, how's it going? Bad. Rough. Yeah, it's bad here too. What am I doing here? What am I doing with this? I think this is irrelevant. The target location is 4513. And that's up over there. Because this silly little thing doesn't want to work. It's so annoying. This is just gonna keep going down and down and down. We've got 182 tiles there. But we're going down to 35. We're at 39 now. 38. 36. Now we have 36. So next one should be the last one. It does add the last one because we're getting the parent. So here now, the current lock to check is 35. So it gets added there, and it gets added here. So in here we have a path from 45 to 35. Which I think should be correct. It does say 46 on the tile reader there. But that's because it's checking the top there. While here we're checking the bottom. So I don't see an issue. And then here we convert it to PF tiles. And here we have 35, 35, and 46, yeah. So there is no issue whatsoever. This is why it's bad. This is why I'm bad. Oops, we skipped the draw dynamic grid. Well, it's not like we wanted to see that. Set preview offset. Oh, that's for the turn. Doesn't really matter. And we have got collision. No, there really doesn't seem to be any other issue. Is this still a thing? 3513. And I haven't really changed anything either that really would cause this, I feel like. That's the weirdest part for me. Like, it shouldn't be, there shouldn't be a problem. This started cropping up when I fixed the force system. And also in regards to maybe the position system, but what this could be, potentially, is a bug that was making it work before, and now when I fix the other bug, this bug is no longer making it work before. That's potentially what's happening. And that is going to suck ass. Maybe... if we try doing that, and then we run it, and then we just do that. And then we uncollapse this. Now this is only ran through late update. That doesn't help. Let's run this one. Oops. So all I want to do here is see what calls this. Oh, it's just the one. There's one thing that calls it every turn. And that's through the movement tool, through trigger, through check mouse. Oh, Jano, how's it going? This is gonna destroy the day. Like, honestly, this is, I don't know what's happening. This is gonna fuck everything. I don't know what is causing this. It's such a minor non-issue. I don't know what is happening. What could possibly do this? Going how you'd expect, getting back to work after a long weekend. Yeah, I know that one. Yep, that's exactly what's happening here too. Let's headache. My headache has subsided, thankfully. Thank. Like, the only clue is that it's always the last two tiles. But why? It's always the last two tiles that are broken. But I've already confirmed that they're written. And the grid size includes them. So why? Hello, Mark. Should this be removed? And here I used to have, it used to say generate path results, but I've moved everything over to generate range results. So it should just work. Let's see. What if we do this? pf result.path. I don't think this actually does anything. And this as well. I really doubt that does anything at all. Let's just try running it. Yeah, no. I think this might potentially be one of the most bullshit issues I've had so far. Like, there's been a lot of bullshit issues in regard to the shader. But this is just... I don't know how to figure this out. It's just fucked. We're at 7, 7. Target location value is 17.7. Ten 7. 9 7. This is where we're actually adding the current one, which is 8. And then we're going again. We add the current one, which is 7. So yeah, we've added 7 7. Current location to check. 7 7 7 slice 2 2 1. God damn it. I accidentally skipped over this. I didn't want to do that. However, we have a PF tile list here that includes 7 7 7 8 6 8 8. Then 8 8 8. 8, 8. They all have a tile origin of 0, which is correct. E, 7, 7. This is the one we want to draw. New Pathfinder tile. Tile.key, 7, 7. Grid color, none. Is it that simple? Why is it getting set to grid color none? Oh, I understand. No, I don't. I mean, not really. We're setting a location here. And I think that might be part of it, because here, I'm using target location. But that doesn't make sense either. What are the bounds? Outer bounds. Yeah, okay. Oh, I think we found it. Oh. Basically, what's happening is that for whatever reason, this is now kicking in. But when I'm creating the path, I have this isValid function that takes a bound. And that bound is the character bounds. And if x is greater than 0, and like, but it's still weird because, like, what is this? If position x is greater than 0, We're checking collection size here, and that's the matrix. If is soft collider. Yeah, here we're checking. Checks if the collider found is the object itself. Ignores the collision. Wait, is it maybe the bounds that are set incorrectly now? But it shouldn't be. It's just set to outer bounds. Like, that should be fine. And even if it was, it doesn't feel like that makes sense either. Because if that was the case... Maybe? Let's go here. The bounds are set to 12, 8, 39. Because what's strange maybe it's this. The validated tiles gets one tile added here. And this grid color is set to none. I think this is it. So how do we set grid color? I need to pee again. Oh my god, please, 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 please. Oh, thank god. It was that. I add the first tile to the validated tiles list so that we can stop when we find it again. Because that's like the starting position. And then I'm not sure. I think I go like backwards or some... No, I don't. No, that's where we start. But yeah, that was the issue. I was adding a tile separately from the pathfinding system, where I had recently set it to draw the tiles as blue. Because before I was like retroactively setting the tiles. But now I did it so that I set the tiles to blue in the pathfinding system. But I forgot to update that first one. Well, at least we found it. That could have been a lot more annoying. And it almost was. That was 2 hours. Now the next question is, has that affected the issue with the force system? I strongly doubt it. Oh, ho, 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 ho. No. So that's the next thing then. Okay. We're beginning to reach this terrible, terrible season outside where it's like -1, +2, -5. And it's like too cold to not have the heat on, but it's too hot. It's too warm outside to have the heat on. It's just annoying. So, next then. Why the fuck did that just happen? Huh? I renamed and it just moved somewhere else on the screen. Or in the code, and it just... Okay. Because this looks like it should be working correctly, in my opinion. What's really, really odd here is that I feel like this should paint his entire path green. So if that's the case, force tiles to render. It takes a Pathfinder result. What? Bro. Why can't I access my nullable struct? Huh? Do I have to do an entirely new? I have to make an entirely new PF result? Nah, that's bullshit. I don't want to do that. Hey Charles, how's it going? Switch platform? That's fair. YouTube is delay hell. Is the PF result used in any way it's got a no path found there. Come on, man. Well, I guess that's one issue with having a nullable struct. Can't actually modify it very easily. Apparently. Which is super strange, because I feel like I've done that all the time. I guess not. We're just setting it here. But then the question, I guess, is why is it nullable? Oh, it's because... Because I want to use it further down, I guess. We'll just have to reset it then. PF result dot value dot found. And the path should be irrelevant. And then if we go to blast AoE as well, we're gonna have a force thing here, force execute, and then it does all of this stuff. And we're gonna say that. I'm glad you showed me that programmer mode on calculator. It's honestly not like super useful. Because that has to do with the reason I use it is for like bit allocation. Because that's like a way you can store data in one integer. Because you like limit the amount of values. Like an integer is what, 4 bytes? So if you have information that you know is gonna be like 1 byte in size only, then you can have like 4 different variables stored in the same integer. And that's useful for data storage. And it's useful for like sending the value over to the GPU and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, for visualization, I can see how that could be useful as well, just to understand how the thing works in the first place. And this works now. And this is broken. Fuck me in the ass. Jesus Christ. But yes, a double is just a float with 64 bits instead of 32, I think. So it has a better precision for more decimals. I never use them. I don't know. I feel like you can use them in certain cases. Like, I don't know, maybe for... I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. I feel like it has more to do with, like, mathematics, I guess. It's like for positioning and stuff, you really almost never need anything other than just floats. I got sidetracked and started reading about NES era assembly. It was a mistake. Yeah, it has really nothing to do with anything. It's like not how anything's done anymore. In like any way. But it can be a little bit interesting to see how they like allocate memory into certain like chips on the board. Like, oh, this chip can store 3 numbers. So they use this to do this and that. I don't really care about stuff like that much. But I did watch some videos like in regards to like how the Commodore 64 works and stuff. Okay, so what's wrong here now is that... Well, first of all, her position is shown with green, which isn't really the intention here, but that's a really annoying thing to fix, and I don't really want to bother doing that right now. And... But it's supposed to have, like... It's supposed to show where the actual ability is targeted here, which it's not doing anymore. So, where did that go? Did this one actually work? Because if we look at this... Here I'm updating it. So maybe this one actually worked. Maybe it's actually only the other one. Oh, and oh yeah, okay, yeah. Maybe. But I feel like this should have worked. Wait, was it just like a minor thing? Well, bye. Yeah. This should be... The grid color here should be not yellow, it should be force tiles to render dot... No, it should be tile dot color. Tile dot value dot color. Huh? Dot color. Value dot... Fuck! Grid color. And tile.value.edge. I think we might have to run one additional thing here. If we go to the force system again. Here at the end, I'm not really doing anything. I'm just like, okay, we've assigned the force tile to render here. But after that's done... After the while loop is done, then we should say... LOT pathfinding dot generate bitwise grid? Or maybe, no, not bitwise grid. It's generate result, I think. Generate range result. And that takes... It takes a PF result. Yeah, we should get rid of that. And instead, this should return Pathfinder tile deck. What if we, instead of returning, we say, and then here, instead of writing to PF result, we write to list out. And then here, instead of this being PF result, we're gonna say PF result dot Pathfinder tile deck. I think we should have a temporary list regardless. We're gonna pull that from validated tiles. And then anywhere here where it says that we're gonna check out validated tiles, we're gonna check out temp dict instead. And the reason for that is because what I want to do is allow us to be able to send the same list in as the list that's going out. Wait, that doesn't make any sense. Feel sick yesterday, and now I feel better. Going to draw a bit before lunch. Sounds good, dude. Hope you feel better. I was also sick yesterday. Uh, um, I'm just thinking. Because what we need here is we need to say if list out that contains key tile.key then we're gonna say list out tile.key equals new Pathfinder tile. And that way, we can rename this list to list in out. It's not a list, actually, it's a dictionary. But then we can remove the validated tiles. Can we not? I mean... Yeah, let's cut this down. This shouldn't do this at all. This else? It should just do this if. So what this was doing was it was going through this. It was checking all its neighbors, and then it was updating the edge on it so that we got an edge. And then it was writing that to the pathfinding result. But that's too much. That's an unnecessary amount of behavior. Whereas all we need to do is just say, because we have the dictionary here. We have the temp locations list, where we have converted the PF tile there. And then we can just say, generate range result. Main controller. And then the dictionary there is just the return from there. No, it doesn't have a return. So we're gonna have to do it like this here. Generate range result. Main controller. Temp location list. Like that. And then here we say PF result dot Pathfinder tile dict equals new dictionary temp location list. And that's it. That should work. And then this generate range result here should just be force tiles to render, and that's it. Are there any other errors in regards to that? No. Alright, in that case, let's try it. It crashes now. Oh, yeah, you can't oh. You can't for each. You can't for each and edit the for each. Fuck. So I have to create a temporary list. After all, we need a new one here. Dictionary, vector 3 int, pathfinder tile, temp dict. And then here, instead of this, we're gonna say temp dict dot add like such. And then once this is done, we're gonna say list in out equals new dictionary temp dict. I am feeling my, like, sneaking back. He is out of chicken. I'm actually out of food. I actually do not have anything to eat. Oof. Now I am thawing some bratwursts. Bratwurst. Have I solved an issue? Nope. Wait, hold on. Hold on. Why did this work before? Like, what's the difference? Tile in, force to tile surrender. Pathfinder tile dict is being edited. It's because I didn't get rid of that. But something else is wrong now anyway. In the pathfinding, What? This should work. I don't get it. We're going through all this bullshit in order to find the edges, and then I just set the tile again, set the edge. It's all just set. It's exactly like it was back there. At least it feels like it was exactly like this. New Pathfinder tile. Like, yeah, all I did was I added this to the Pathfinder tile deck. Even this was not relevant, so... what's the problem? I don't see the problem. Because before, I was popping it in here, generate range result, and the range result was being put here. As a reference. And now I'm sending in a dictionary. And I'm not like I'm even overwriting the dictionary. Like I'm not even just setting the dictionary to the other dictionary. I'm actually overwriting it. So, or like I'm copying it by doing new dictionary. That has always worked. So I don't understand why it no longer... You know what, I mean... I guess... Breakpoint... Okay, so now here we are converting locations to PF tile dicts, which I actually didn't want to go into. What's step out? There. So now here we have a PF tile dictionary with 18 entries. Then we do generate range results. We go in here, we set the temp dict for each tile in list out. We're setting edges. Everything here is list in out, list in out. We have an edge here that's 303. And so that gets added to the temp dict. It's got a Pathfinder tile. At 280, which is the same tile and key as we had before. Right, the value here is 3088. Tile position is all good. Now it just keeps doing this. And then we go here. And this in out is now set to temp be the same as temp dict. 283887 283887. Yeah, it's the same. List in out is the same. Right? And so we go here. And now PF tile 2887. And now the Pathfinder tile dict for PF result is set to PF tile. That's now 2887. It has a grid color. Didn't necessarily have an edge there. The edge is 0 on all of them? Wait, why? Huh? Hello, sudden cringe. Sorry, I didn't see you there. What are tiles? A class of their own or something more simple like a matrix? The tiles are a class. No, they're a struct that contain a bit too many variables right now. And though they are stored inside of a 3-dimensional array. But right now the tile contains a byte or 2 bytes, an X and a Y, and a tile sheet value. This all points towards position, right? It also has this, which is like a detail as well. So this is 3 bytes per tile per layer. But we don't need that many tiles, so the tiles can be kind of heavy. It doesn't really matter that much, but it's not like a huge amount either, so it's not that big of a deal. This list is not very good. I need to find a better solution for that, for sure. And this should be replaced. This right now is like this, but this should be... it should be like an integer. I want to say an integer, but it could be an int16 probably. That's just an index for like which tile it is. It has to be reworked a bit. Right now it's pretty raw. Or naive, I guess the word is. But that won't really save that much data there. It's the other things here, and I do think I want to change those too. For example, like which tiles belong to a floor number and stuff like that. That's also something I want to get rid of. I'm not sure how though, but I do think this can be reworked for sure. I need to run it again. So I'm confused. I don't understand what's happening right now. I don't think I'm doing what I'm doing in a good way either. But I think I have to. So here, right, now we have a temp dict. The temp dict has 224. This has got to be for the static grid. So let's see. 7 seems to be the lowest X. Yeah, here we have one edge. edge, edge. So we do have some edge values. But this one doesn't have an edge. Why does the edge not get copied? Huh? That's so weird. I'm so confused. I don't know what's happening right now. Is this some kind of bug or limitation, or like what's happening? Because this is how I've done it, right? Because when it comes to lists, I don't really like assigning a list here, for example. Or this is a dictionary. It's basically the same. So I declare it here, the temp dict. And I could just say list in out, which is the list that I'm passing in and want to pass out again. I could just say equals temp dict. But I have had several occasions where doing that in a way that's a little bit incorrect, and then you end up like editing the list in two different places because they exist in multiple places. So I just do this new dictionary and then I pass in the other dictionary here. Hold on. There. How about now? Okay, so now we have an edge there at the final tile. And what about here? Pathfinder tile dict. And now this one is 0. What? Here in generate range result, I'm passing in this dictionary, which is a reference. But what you're telling me is that because I'm passing it in, and I then set it here, even though it gets set here, this is not a reference that I've assigned to? This becomes like a local? Oh? All right, what if we just try this? Just see what happens. Does that work? I feel like it should be messy doing that. And that doesn't work either. Don't tell me it's bugging again. Because I had a problem when I was working on my other project where when I was trying to debug a lot with the debugger, it created a bug where variables that I had changed in the code and saved and had been compiled were actually not compiled. And so when you actually check the values that it was referencing, no, that wasn't actually the bug. The bug was something else, so never mind. I don't know what's happening here. Like, do I actually need to do the ref keyword for this list for this to work? Why? Why do I need to ref a reference for it to be a reference? So, my theory, I think what's happening here, I think I understand. So, basically, when I have this function, and it doesn't have ref, what's getting passed in is a reference to the class, that instance that we're passing in, right? And what happens when I assign a new list to it is that we're assigning a new reference. So this is a local that's actually a reference over there. So what's happening is that when I assign to this in a way where I'm just saying new, for example, if I do equals new dictionary, then the reference gets overwritten to the new instance. While what I want to do is I want to overwrite this, that's the one that has been called, right? So if we do ref there again, how would it work now if I just did new dictionary? That also works. And the ref, the ref is like a hard reference. So it means that we're not changing the address that we're pointing to, we're changing the reference that is pointed to. So it's the difference between setting the changing the value referred to and changing the pointer, I think. Or the reference address. I don't really know how that works, so I don't know what I'm talking about there. Something like that. Oh, oh, there we go. Fuck me. Should have placed Adonos as well. Oh yeah, it looks a little bit better now. It's still not correct. You can see the actual path is getting an edge now, but the edge is overwritten where it overlaps with the edge from the AoE blast. And I don't know how I want to handle that. Like, does the path just overwrite the AoE blast, or what? Or do I combine them? I don't know if I want the AoE outline to be blue here. Maybe the outline should be red, while the actual tile is blue. I don't know. And that would be annoying because I don't have a value to set the actual edge outline for the tile. Though that could be added. I think we'll probably stop there for today. Not a lot of progress, but we did fix some things. Yeah. I had a migraine for 3 days, so... Oh. Moving is broken. How is moving broken, bro? What are you... Huh? Path length is 0? Let's see. Path find. It does need this. Yeah, it needs to have that. Though, I feel like we should just do if result dot path equals new dictionary vector 3 int pathfinder tile. But the path is location based. It's just vector 3s. It's just a list. And that list should be all right, fine. That does have a reason to exist there. Can we walk? We can walk. Shield charge. Shield charge now renders completely correctly. Which is nice. Not completely, actually. The outline doesn't respect the character. But that's a minor detail. You can see here. And also, the grid is a little bugged because the character counts as having height. So they count as like standing within a certain voxel. And what happens is that the bottom tile gets set to green, kind of. And if you look very carefully, you can see that the start of his shins, right below the fold of the boot, is green. So the characters are actually getting tinted by the tile. And that's just a minor error in the shader code that needs to be fixed. But we can move again, and that's good. And this is fixed. At least within the realm of like how things are visualized right now. Now if any of this should be changed to be displayed differently, that's something we'll have to tackle later. But for now I'm just trying to implement some tile colors and visualizations that make some sense. This is fixed. AoE practical overwrites edges on force tiles. Overlapping force tiles. But yeah, I think that's about it for now. I should be able to start working on like melee AoEs and stuff like that next. And cone aiming. Can this shield charge hit 2 targets? It can if I change some variables on it. Well, actually it can't, because the ability to... Okay, so when you shield charge someone, that triggers this combat sequence. And then you get moved. So right now, that only has support for 1 target. But that's something that I'm going to change. And then it can be. Then it can be an area effect. And the combat sequence in and of itself, this does need a bit of an overhaul, graphically and visually, because I don't really like this, but I don't want a Fire Emblem solution either. So eventually, I'm going to try to tinker on maybe some kind of middle ground between the two. And then we'll see. Because I just really do not want a full screen animations thing. But this also doesn't really work that well, because let's say you're actually fighting somebody here in this corridor, and you're attacking the guy who's like above you. That just simply doesn't really work. And it's gonna look really stupid. Like that doesn't work. And even if I were to just make the characters all just be on top, which is what I would do to solve this, it still kind of, it still looks kind of silly, like that they're just like popped on top of the buildings and everything. So I don't really like this. It needs to change. But it is what it is. I think I will do that for the combat prototype. But no, nowhere soon. So yeah. Alright, we fixed movement again. So yeah, I'm gonna go and see if I can get some writing done. If I'm not still too zonked out of it. I don't think I'll do a stream tonight. Because I can feel that my headache is coming back a bit. It's not entirely gone, but it's mostly gone, but it's still there. So I think it's better to just take it easy tonight. But until next time, thanks for hanging. Have a good day. Bye-bye.